And without further ado, first of all, I would like to invite Ms. Einaf Benson, Commercial Counsel, Head of Israel Economic and Commercial Mission to Hong Kong, to give us an opening remark. Einaf, please.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Nicole. So as Nicole said, my name is Einaf Nixon. I'm heading the Economic and Commercial Mission to Hong Kong and Macau. The Israeli Economic and Commercial Mission in Hong Kong is responsible for strengthening the commercial and investment cooperation between Israel and Hong Kong. And to achieve our goal, we are creating we organize a lot of delegation to Israel. We hold in seminars such as today. We have in Israeli Pavilion, such as in the FinTech Week in November. And we are trying to give personal introduction between Israeli companies and Hong Kong companies. So I invite you that if you like to stay updated, so please follow us on LinkedIn. The event today, Online Banking in Digital Era, is a collaboration between the Economic Mission and the Hong Kong FinTech Association. So thank you for that. Soon you will hear 4 Israeli representatives from 4 Israeli companies, Credix, EasySend, Guma, and Bond IT. They represent only a glimpse of what Israel has to offer. So please, if there is anything that interests you, so you're welcome to reach out to Nicole or anyone in my team. So without further ado, I want to thank to Nicole, to Joe, to Rafael, to Afri and David from the Expert Institute for organizing the event, and to you, our guests, for taking the time to learn more about the Israeli FinTech ecosystem. And that's it. Thank you very much for everyone.
Thank you, Einaf. And just as I mentioned in the beginning, like, this webinar would not have been possible without the assistance of our friends in Israel and Hong Kong. So now let's welcome Mr. Rafael Jensa, General Manager of FinTech Association Hong Kong, to give us a welcome speech. So Rafael, you have the floor.
Thank you, Nicole, and thank you, Aina, for having us here. We from the FinTech Association are very excited to support this webinar, and I'm really looking forward to learn more about the Israeli FinTech ecosystem, now represented through 4 of these companies, but even beyond that. As it is recorded, and to those of you listening in that are not or less familiar with the FinTech ecosystem in Hong Kong and our association, please allow me to say the following. The FinTech community in Hong Kong is very diverse, covering a variety of segments relevant to the financial system in Hong Kong. Now, having said that, Hong Kong, the FinTech ecosystem follows strongly the Hong Kong's financial market DNA. Capital markets, investing, stock exchange listings, high liquidity pools, with a high density of asset managers, banks, insurances, hedge funds, VCs. So in a nutshell, it's clearly a B2B financial marketplace, and that is also represented through the fintechs that follow suit. So we have a very strong representation in fintechs in wealth tech, RegTech, Insurtech, big data and AI, blockchain, and DLT technology. From a startup perspective, particularly, they find a variety of support, be it through incubators such as the Hong Kong Science Technology Park, or community clusters such as Cyberport. Additionally, there's quite a bit of funding available for startups, mostly provided by the government centrally, but ranging from all stages, from seed to early stage, Series A, business development, all the way up to international expansion. And from a FinTech Association point of view, we try to represent the FinTech ecosystem as a whole. Therefore, our members come from all walks of the FinTech life in Hong Kong. It can be individuals and students. It can be startups, SMEs, banks, insurances, tech companies, you name it. And if I was now to relay over to this very session, as Hong Kong is finally opening up, we are looking forward to welcome more and more fintech companies and representatives from abroad this year. I would like to consider this webinar as a soft intro to the variety of fintechs that Israel boasts. We hope to also see some of Israeli fintechs in Hong Kong very soon. I know we have something in the planning for I think, March or April. And yeah, without further ado, I would like to hand it back and to the FinTech community of Israel and look forward to learn about those 4 companies. Thank you.
Thank you, Ralph. We do look forward to working closely together very soon. And so today we are joining here together to hear more about the Israel fintech ecosystem. So why Israel? What makes it so unique and how is it so innovative? So to answer all these questions, I'm pleased to have Mr. Shmuel Ben Tavim, President of FinTech Community of Israel, to share a little bit more about this. So Shmuel, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon at your place. Hi, Einav, good to see you in Hong Kong also. And Nicole, and thank you everyone. It is a pleasure to reconnect with the Hong Kong FinTech Association. I'm saying to reconnect because some years back we had very close relationship with Mushir Ahmed. I think he was the founding executive of the association. And since he left, unfortunately, we lost contact, but here is a good opportunity to renew and reinforce our relationship. I will run you very quickly through the highlights of the fintech industry in Israel. And with your permission, I will also, if I can share my screen, I think I can. No, I need permission to share my screen, Nicole.
No problem. I will go. Let's try again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, we are the Israel FinTech Center. We are the largest FinTech association in Israel, and I will go into some details in the next few minutes. First of all, some figures about the industry. We have over 700 FinTech companies in Israel, small, large, of all walks of the industry. We have many global financial institutions in Israel. And unlike maybe in Hong Kong, that most of them actually do business and you can see them on the high street, in Israel, all the names that you see here are unfamiliar to the Israeli consumer. They are here just with R&D centers, Citi, HSBC, JP Morgan, Santander, Sompo, MasterCard, etc., etc. We have 4 specialized VCs today in Israel. The VC in this Israel is at large, quite developed and very active, but 4 of the VCs in Israel focus only on FinTech and Insurtech. And we also have produced several unicorns in the global market. I think today there are about 20 Israeli unicorns in FinTech only. Some of the well-known names, of course, are Amdocs and Payoneer and NICE and eToro and Lemonade, etc., etc. This is a snapshot, which is a year old, but not much has changed to see the subsectors of the industry and their stage of development. So on the left-hand side, you can see that there are companies always in every track, in trading and investing, in payments, in Insurtech, etc., etc. And on the right-hand side, you can see maybe the normal distribution of very many startups and early-stage companies, less in more developed stage, and only a few, but very meaningful large companies. You can also take this very complicated map just to take a glance, which was developed by one of the VCs, Viola FinTech, and it gives you the main names of companies in each of the subsectors. So you can see that Insurtech, trading and investment, banking and financing are very, very active. Also blockchain and crypto. On the right-hand side, you can see the names of the companies who've already grown up, either by becoming public, by public offerings, most of them in America, and also quite a few M&As with international players. This was the upside. The downside is the Israeli market as a consumer market is underdeveloped. And this is because our regulatory system is still not catching up with innovation. So, and on top of it, of course, the Israeli market is very small. We are 9 million people. If someone has better chances in America or Europe, they will go over there. So we have a situation in which, unlike other technology areas, you know, like medicine or cyber or agriculture or even defense, most of the big players in fintech in Israel are not known in Israel and are not active in the Israeli market. It is beginning to change, but it will take some time, which means this is good news for Hong Kong, that the Israeli fintechs are looking to expand internationally from the very, very early beginning. And if there is a chance there, they will go and do it. And we also have some market segments that are staying backwards, senior citizens, the Arab minority in Israel, which we are all taking care of, bringing them closer to the innovation. As a fintech center, we actually the aims are to position, of course, Israel as a global leader in fintech, to attract investments, to assist entrepreneurs, to upgrade the local regulatory environment, to accelerate financial innovation. I believe that many of those are very similar to the association in Hong Kong. Number-wise, we have in our community about 4,000 people from the entire ecosystem, fintech companies, financial services, regulators, investors, etc. About 200 companies that are paying members. I know from my meetings with Moshe that the numbers in Hong Kong are more impressive. We hope to catch up with you. We have a very respectable advisory board. And we have also MOUs with leading international fintech hubs. I'll come to it in a minute. These are some of our recent programs. This is, for instance, a conference on the technology for credit that we did with the Tel Aviv University. On the right-hand side, you can see the fintechs that won the prizes in the competition that was before the conference. We have a CBDC formed, Central Bank Digital Currency, that is meeting regularly. And this is our international MOUs. And I think that Hong Kong is missing there, and we hope to fill it up in the near future. But we have today MOUs with about 30 fintech associations from all over the world. The recent additions are the results of the Abraham Accords. So we have signed agreements with the Emirates, with Bahrain, with Morocco, and we hope to keep on on that path. So this is really in a nutshell the industry. I am happy to answer any questions, and of course I've met Einav before she left, and I know that she looks at the fintech industry as one of the highlights of her job over there. So I hope that together with the Fintech Association of Hong Kong and our diplomats over there, we can bring about better collaboration, come and visit you, host you here in Israel. And I look forward to listening to the rest of this interesting webinar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shmuel. So over the past few years, the Israeli fintech sector has established itself as a front runner in financial innovation. And as of today, we have over 700 Israeli fintech companies. So in this webinar, we are very happy to have invited 4 of them to share with us about their solutions. And if our audience have any questions for them, feel free to type it in the Q&A box, and we will answer it at the end of each part, or the speakers will be happy to answer it in writing. So without further ado, let's welcome our first company, Credix. We have Mr. Chaim Somek, founder and CEO at Credix, here with us today. So you have the floor, Chaim.
Let me make a share here.
Sure.
If somehow I cannot share the sound, hold on. Yeah, now it's okay.
Great. We can see a screen now.
Sure, okay. So first, good morning, good afternoon. Thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Chaim Tzemach, and I am from Credix Technology in Israel, a company with many years of experience. I would say myself has more than 35 years experience. In fact, I've established two of three major credit card companies in Israel, which is ICC and later on Max. And we are actually providing solutions for payment worldwide. As mentioned, started in Israel, and since then we are working with many companies providing solutions for bank and other financial institutions. In fact, it is end-to-end solution for digital payment, and we have recently launched our most advanced, the digital wallet, which we can talk about it a bit more in detail. During our so many years of experience, we have realized that the market needs something a bit different, easier to make the payment much more, I would say, fast, flexible, and achievable for many companies. Therefore, we have developed a special software engine that actually create digital payment solutions for many sectors. Actually, any sector that needs a payment solution, we can create for him the platform to run payment end-to-end. It can be banking, it can be financial institutions, insurance companies, as we did with one of the big companies in Israel, Passport Card. We have provided them the platform in Australia for travel card, for online payment, for fintech startups. It's very unique solution. Any fintech startup, instead of hiring so many people and spending so much money and time for developing their solution, we can create solution for those fintech companies within a few weeks, start to end to end. That means that we can create even the source code and provide the source code for them. We'll see in a moment how does it work. In our solution, we offer a very good solution for petroleum companies. We did that for BP France, for Texaco in the Benelux countries, as mentioned, travel card, etc., and hospitality. And we have launched recently an advanced e-commerce site, which can do very good orchestration of payment using different type of payments tool. It can be wallet, it can be web, it can be cashback, etc. How does it work? During our the implementation step, we collect all the business requirement from the customer, the business partner. We use our building blocks that we have developed during so many years, and we actually create a solution, tailor-made solution for that needs. This program has been approved by the Chief Scientific Office in Israel in 2006, and this was the first version that we have launched for Coop Italy based on that concept. And this covers, once we are creating that solution, it actually covered end-to-end payment card, any kind of card. It can be virtual, physical, prepaid, deferred debit, any kind of card can be supported by our solution. We can do acquiring transaction, of any type of transaction. It can be, as mentioned, from different sources, mobile and virtual, etc. The e-commerce one, the digital wallet, where we can see a short video on that later on. We do have a platform, the Connect Plus, that actually switch and routing transaction to its destinations, including clearing and settlement. We support a very good loyalty program within our offering, and we also support the special purpose like a special card if it is a closed loop, the digital currency with our offering, etc. Any questions? Within the payment card arena, we do end-to-end payment card. From the moment KYC has been completed, all the way creating the card, establishing whatever it is needed on the card. It can be a special application, of course, needless to mention that it will be an EMV card in this platform. It can be dual application. We do have an authorization system that to authorize the transactions within support of the stand-in processing. We do all the clearing and settlement with a very unique and clear way, not actually messing up with all the balancing and once a month or once a year, whatever it is on the legacy solution. And we do also advanced transaction management like installment, deferred payment, buy now, pay later, all of those actually up and running and supported by our solution. Similar to that, we do for the merchant management and e-commerce part. We do KYB and AML support. We launch all what it is needed, fee management for merchant. One of the samples that I can provide, one of the customers in Atlanta migrated from TSYS to our solution, especially because they needed to have so many fee types, around 200 fee types for the merchant, and TSYS will not be able to do that, and they migrated to our solution for that, including clearing and settlement and the loyalty program from the merchant part. Within the Connect Plus and the switching and routing transaction, this actually piece can be connected within a very advanced technology. It is Java-based, JavaScript, Node.js, React Native if needed, and it supports connectivity to ATM. We do support full ATM management with different types. We support the Triton ATM, we support NCR, and also at the moment we are running the system for supporting a special vendor from Italy called Sigma. We do also support POS management, connecting to different acquirers, Visa and MasterCard and Amex certified. And of course, if there are some needs to connect to some PSPs, we also do that. The whole platform actually based on the same technology, which is Java, JavaScript. Some of them, that depends with the implementation. It has the front end, it has the customer management, product management, the financial product management, and many of them is actually based on rules where we can define a lot of business concept, I would say, model using our rules that implemented in the solution. Within our loyalty program, it is beyond the accumulation and redemption points. We do, of course, buy now, pay later. This is something that we support many years back. We do transaction reward. We have a special platform for marketplace, B2B marketplace if needed, to offer businesses to do marketplace among them, do wire transfer, do other maybe special transaction support. The cashback program is one of our offering, and I can give an example. Within the Philippines, we have actually upgrade their loyalty system. Instead of having most of the functionality on the POS level, we have actually upgraded to the switch level. There we can be much more flexible and wide range of offering of loyalty of programs, etc. Within potential usage of our solution, we do have a core banking and treasury platform. That's actually the concept. It is based on a very big accounting system. That's why we are very flexible and we can launch financial products sometime within days, unlike some other situations where it's sometimes you spend months to launch those financial products. We do support all the card type, as mentioned. We do support the digital currency at the moment. It is one of the features used in our wallet. We have a end-to-end solution for fuel card. And if needed, we did some program for the US market for health insurance. A bit more about potential usage. Our digital wallet, actually what we did, we have injected to our digital wallet all our 35 years experience in the same app. And it is very community oriented. We can run communities from different types. We do have remittance services if needed. And our company, Credix, is actually representing one of the crypto, actually encryption companies or system or devices, which it calls FutureX. It's a company that provide HSM machine in order to do encryption and decryption of messages and PIN and whatever it is needed for card solution. Having our platform and our control, on the source code, etc., we can allow variety of implementation options. We can do payment as a service. We can do software licensing. We can do managed services, which is combination of the license and the payment as a service. We can even provide a source code for customer if needed. Because you see, our IP is the engine that creates the solution. Once the solution has been created, we can provide that source code to that customer. And after education and documentation, he can up and running that solution by himself. We can do, of course, installation of new operation end-to-end. This is one of our expertise. During our experience, actually, we have implemented more than 10 companies from business plan all the way to full operation worldwide. We can do add to existing systems, add-on, and we can do upgrade and enrich existing modules within existing systems. Our technique, the way we do migration, we can offer, data migration, including history within very smooth and secure way. A bit about e-wallet.
Sorry, Han, I think we are running out of time, so maybe you want to wrap up a bit.
Say it again.
We are running out of time, so maybe you would like to wrap up a little, and then we will have to move on.
We have 1 more minute.
1 more minute, yes.
Yeah.
Imagine a world where you can instantly build any financial product for your company and allow your customers to use any type of payment. Imagine a platform with smart payment methods that are simple, easy to use, and reliable. Meet CredoPay, the all-in-one solution platform that allows banks, retailers, and businesses to create new revenue streams. Virtual cash management has never been so easy. Buy now, pay later, loans, donations, and many other payment tools are in reach with a click. The Consumers Club module attracts buyers and provides the most relevant experiences to them. The real-time posting solution of CredoPay allows businesses to offer their customers a variety of financial products. The Smart Account platform keeps track of all loyalty memberships and promotions. CredoPay leverages more than 35 years of international experience of Credix Technologies, an Israeli FinTech company, worldwide experts in transaction processing and payment systems. What can you do with Credo? Start today. Log into our website. Choose functionalities. Download the app. CredoPay. Build, scale, grow.
cities like Chicago and New York. How can we get incentivized for living carbon-friendly lifestyle?
I believe this is better now. This is our Credo customer deployment worldwide. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Hein. So we will now move on to our next presenter, Mr. Top Lead Sales Manager Amir at EasySend. So he will share with us about the solution from EasySend. Now you have the stage.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate it. So, all right. So let's keep it kind of straight and to the point because we don't have a lot of time. So I think that before I share my screen and I explain a little bit about what we do here at EasySend and who we currently work with, I think that my agenda for the next, I would say, 8 minutes that we have together is just to provide you with maybe like a sneak peek into our platform or into EasySend. And because I can go on and talk about EasySend for hours, this is what I do in the company. This is what I get paid for. So it's a sneak peek, and obviously, if you want to learn more about it, you can always contact me directly. Obviously. All right. So let me go ahead and get started. Let me share my screen real quick. Hold on. One second, let it load. All right. So my position at EasySend, I'm the sales manager for the EMEA market at EasySend. And let's talk a little bit about the platform, because at the end of the day, EasySend is a platform. So let's talk a little bit about the product. What essentially it is, it's a platform that allows you to digitize any manual process that you might have into a digital journey. And it's a no-code platform, and it's also self-service. I'll talk about that in a minute. And the concept is that you don't have to know code. You don't have to be a developer, none whatsoever, in order to develop such a journey. And when I say a digital journey, that means that you will have to go through web flows on your mobile device. It doesn't matter if it's an iPhone, Android, or something like that. And you fill in data, you upload your documents, you sign with a legal binding signature, and you submit it. So that's kind of in a nutshell of what we do. So a little bit about the company, and the point of this slide is for you to understand or to know that we are not a bootstrap startup, and therefore we won't vanish tomorrow. We have today operations worldwide in Israel, in the US, in EMEA, in Japan, and we also recently opened in Australia. We are very known in the insurance vertical and also in the banking or the financial institution vertical. I would say that if we're talking about Israel, so we work with about 95% of the banks and also 90-something% with the insurance carriers. So probably all of the largest ones, also the newest ones, but also the largest ones, Bank Poalim, Bank Discount, Bank Leumi, 1-0, and so on and so forth. And same goes for all of the insurance carriers, such as Menora, Arel, Klal, and all of the other ones. But the concept is that, as I know that we have our expertise in those very common use cases, but at the same time, the platform is really that agile because it really allows you to digitize any manual process. And so even though those customers, let's take an example of a bank that we work with, right? So the main or the first use case that we did with them was onboarding B2B. Let me just share a little bit of insight about that. So onboarding B2B is a fairly complex, I would say, digital journey because it involves multiple stakeholders, and they have to, instead of coming to the bank and doing everything in person, they have to do it from a distance, and they have to identify themselves. And they have, again, multiple stakeholders, maybe their accounting and lawyer and so on and so forth. So it's a fairly complicated journey. And we managed to do that in the fraction of the time, to be honest, and this is why they chose us. But what I wanted to say is that after they managed to implement EasySend in the very common use cases, they also started working on different use cases that didn't have anything to do with customer facing, just because they're already using the platform. So let's say when they onboard a new employee to the bank, they also did it with EasySend because it also involves signing a contract. So it's the same thing. So let me give you an example of what I define as a digital journey. So this is an FNOL. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. It's from the insurance industry. FNOL is a first notice of loss. Basically, it's a claim. So every time somebody wants to file a claim, instead of having to go through exactly what you see on the left, which is to essentially fill out that PDF, or let's say download it, fill it out, scan it, upload it, and so on, and sign it, and so on and so forth, they get a link. At the end of the day, we're a SaaS company, a SaaS solution. They will receive a link, which is hosted by AWS, Amazon, and they will have to go through different paths inside that link. So each one of the customers, they navigate their own way through the digital journey, and they only see what is relevant for them. And that becomes a much more efficient customer experience and much better customer experience. And therefore, the conversion rates for moving from one screen to another is just a lot higher. So that's one example. And let me share just a few very common use cases that we have in banks, in financial institutions. So I shared an example for onboarding B2B, but this could be relevant to any other ones, such as, credit deposit, or let's say a debit card application, or anything that you see here, something that is very common, checking account opening, saving account opening, so on and so forth. But also, these are more the simpler one. But let's talk about the ones that are, I would say, more complicated, such as mortgage loan applications. I think that's a very complicated one because it involves, you also have to identify yourself. You also have to go through a full KYC process. You also have to upload your relevant documents, and it goes through different stakeholders. For example, if I want to take the mortgage loan, so it will be me. I have to upload all my information and answer a lot of questions. And after that, the additional stakeholder, in this case, would be my wife. She will have to receive another link, and she needs to answer her own questions, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of in a nutshell of just very common use cases. And obviously, all of these are completely embedded within your system. So it's not like working with like a third party and outside of the organization. This has to be embedded within whichever CRM. And this could be, if I'm looking at here, imagine it's a link, right? So this could be launched from and essentially wherever you want. It's an omni-channel platform, through your agents, through your portals, directly from your CRM. Let's say if it's Salesforce or Dynamics or Guidewire and so on and so forth, you can send out that link directly from the system, and it goes back and forth and updates all of the information in the system. Authentication, so OTP, SSO, token, and somewhat. Again, same concept. And let's talk a little bit, just in a sentence, about the actual e-signature capabilities. So our e-signature is our own, was developed by EasySend. I'm sure that most of the people here are familiar with DocuSign. So I would say that it has the same legal weight, but it's our own. So I think it's very important to kind of highlight that. And one more thing, I want to share just two examples, and then I'll say one more thing about self-service, because I remember that I wanted to say that. So 2 examples just to show you the actual digital journey of how it looks like. So this is a digital mortgage application from Bank Leumi, which is probably one of the largest banks in Israel. And I'm not going to go through the entire journey. I just want to share with you how it looks, because again, it involves a full KYC and so on and so forth. So essentially, you select whichever, let's say, instead of London, we'll say Paris. So as you can see, it has integration to Google Maps, and let's say how much. And again, I'm answering just a few questions, not all of it. Calculation that we can see here, and they can change according to the parameters that I'm going to send. But again, I'm not going to go through all of it. The idea is just to give you a sneak peek into it. Let me show you another example for a claim type journey. So again, you can see your status on the top. You can see the progress bar here, and you can select whichever path that is relevant for you, and therefore you only see what is relevant for you. So let's go through just one path. It doesn't really matter. Here you can see again an integration to their core system and also to Google Address. And I'm skipping pretty fast through it because again, I just want to give you a little bit of kind of a glimpse of how this might look like. Uploading the documents. By the way, it really doesn't matter. I know that I'm showing it through through my computer, but it's completely compatible with Android, iPhone, and so on and so forth, because most of the people, they do it using their mobile as of today. And when I say the actual signature, again, it's not a pop-up, it's our own, it's completely embedded, and so on and so forth. And here, this is not mandatory, but if you want, you can show the customer the actual PDF that is being filled out in the background with their selections. So you can show it for them for preview, and then you can hit submit. It's not mandatory, but you can do that. And of course, all of the information that was inserted is being pushed to your CRM. So nobody on the organization side needs to do anything manually. So that's kind of in a nutshell, or just like a sneak peek into EasySend. And I want to keep it short and to the point because there's a lot more topics that I want to share or I can talk about. But I just want to say one thing, because large organizations, last year I managed to sign, AXA and Munich Re and so on and so forth. So those organizations are really large scale enterprises. I'm sure that you guys have heard of them, and they have the resources, they have the capability to do everything using code and to do everything themselves. So why they utilize us, why they even approach EasySend, or why we approach them, it's because anything that they can do in, let's say, in code in 6 months to a year, we can do that in a fraction of the time. And it's not just we can do, we train them, we provide the platform to them, and they actually do it themselves. Today, I would say that roughly 80% of our customers worldwide, they are completely utilizing the system on their own, as in complete self-service. So that's kind of in a nutshell. And I think that's pretty much it. Any questions? I wanted to keep it short and to the point. Any questions for you guys?
Thank you so much, Tal. Well, I don't see any question at the moment, but again, to our audience, feel free to type any question in the Q&A box. It could be anonymous questions, so don't be shy. And no problem, we can save the question for the later. And then moving on next, we have our next company, Kuma. And here
I see that I see just the one question. So I'll just answer it quick. Before we move on, just one question. It says that they support Chinese input. So absolutely. We are also working with Sompo. So if we manage to deal with that and to support Japanese, so absolutely we can support Chinese as well. Yes.
Thank you.
All right, I'm done.
Sure. Okay, then we have Mr. Roy Gabriel, CEO at Goomer, to share with us about their solution. So Roy, you have the stage.
Thank you, and thanks everyone for the time. So I'm Roy Gabriel, the co-founder and CEO of Kuma. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to focus on the embedded finance world and where the banks are in that world. So we are here to allow or enable banks and large financial institutions to be more relevant in the world of embedded finance. Now, what is the world of embedded finance? It describes these times that are going very, very forward and very quickly, that allows end users and businesses to meet financial services out of the banking environment. So if 20 years ago, if I wanted to transfer a payment to my friend, I had to physically go to my bank. Today, in most places around the world, you don't interact with your bank. You have e-wallets, you have payment apps, and it's getting much, much further than just transferring a payment. You can walk into a retail branch and get a loan from a buy now, pay later provider. You can open as a business a store at Shopify and get a loan from Shopify. Now, there's always a bank behind those services. Shopify gets the money from a bank. The money lies in a bank account. Yours lies in a bank account, and the money is transferred to you via bank transfer. But you don't care, right? Shopify in this case is the brand. They set the interest rate, they get the data, they get the revenue. They are the big earners of this thing. And the banks in many cases are becoming invisible. They're becoming the infrastructure. And that for us doesn't make sense. And I'm happy to say that many banks are doing active work to remain relevant in this world of embedded finance. Now, it has entered also the expense management systems, the way that businesses all around the world are managing their expenses. Now, every business, small, medium, and large, around the world is also a business client of a bank, at least one bank, right? In many cases, more than one bank. And they all have the bank cards to enable all the expenses, or many of the expenses that they have. Now, those cards and the system that wraps them has not evolved much in the last few decades. What has evolved rapidly is what you can do with those cards. With the rise of e-commerce, the typical business would purchase anything that they need, from chairs and tables to actually food for the employees and computers and book hotels. Everything is online. You have SaaS services, you have Slack, Zoom, you have your emails from Google, Microsoft, cloud services, marketing, everything is done online. Sorry, in many cases with cards. Now, this difference, this gap between what you can do with those cards and the old-fashioned system that wraps them from the large financial institutions, the traditional ones, brings a lot of work for the finance teams of every business. And the finance teams of every business has to go over each transaction of the card statement that they have. You know, a typical business would have 1, 2, 3, 20, 30 cards, but not 400 cards. And the finance teams need to go over one transaction after the other to explain and understand what happened here, who approved it, what was purchased, because the merchant name is what appears on the card statement and not what was purchased. And of course, where's the invoice? And it takes them between hours to actually weeks to close the month. And here came large fintech companies all around the world that said, okay, let's bring innovation to that area. And the way they do that is they allow you to have, as the finance managers, the CFO, they give you a very simple dashboard that allows you to instantly issue a virtual debit card or credit card and set many properties to that card. So, for example, if you have an employee that needs to go to a convention, instead of using their own cards and filling out an expense report and saving all the invoices, you can give them and issue them a very easily a card limited to whatever you want with the right budgets. So if your marketing guy comes to you and says, we need to have a marketing campaign in Facebook, $1,000 a month, instead of giving them the unlimited card of the company and hope for the best, hope that the 1,000 doesn't become, with an honest mistake, $10,000, and you always find those mistakes after they happened, in many cases, a lot of time after they happen, you can issue them a card instantly, dedicated for Facebook and limited to $1,000 that is renewed every month. And it doesn't end there. Those companies, the better ones, the ones that we see on the screen now, can also help you collect the invoices automatically. So if you're getting an electronic invoice for your one of your employees to the organization email, if you allow them, they can connect to your organization email and collect the invoices. And if there's a match to one of the transactions done with one of their cards, they take that invoice and push it to your dashboard. Now, this saves a lot of time for the finance managers. It saves between hours, actually weeks, to the finance teams, and it helps them not only be more secured, more holistic, it helps also the employees to be much more satisfied. Now, the interesting thing to see is that the larger fintech companies started giving out loans and credit lines to the businesses that they serve. And this is where it's interesting and very risky for banks not to be in this game. Because the business client is by far the most important client of the bank, and the credit line and loans is the revenue of the bank. This is the bread and butter. and it's very risky for the banks not to be in the game. And this is where we come into the picture. We have an end-to-end white label system that allows banks to keep issuing their own cards and take them under the innovation of Guma, the innovation that I just described, to the market with no technological effort whatsoever. With our system, the corporate clients, and actually corporate clients of other banks, it's an amazing corporate client acquisition channel. They can interact with our partner bank, the bank that takes our system as a white label, and actually issue cards for any usage and define the cards and get the invoices, all very automatic. The employees get a dedicated app. Everything is white label with the bank logo and colors. And the employees also can scan the invoices in case it was not an electronic invoice, but just a piece of paper, they can scan it. So the finance team at the end of the month would get to a dashboard filled with all the invoices needed. And the decision makers of the company would have all the data that they need, not after the finance team actually processed all the invoices, but actually every single moment they log into the system and they see every transaction, every report, every department, the expenses, and what it was for. I try to be very quick and sensitive for the time. I welcome any questions, and since it was very quick, I welcome also follow-up meetings with a demo.
Thank you very much, Roy. Thank you for keeping the time. There's no any questions, then we will move on to our last company of today, and which is Bonded, and I'll leave time to Dr. David Curtis, the head of global client business from Bonded. So David, you have the stage.
Terrific. Thanks, thanks, Nicole, and good afternoon, everybody. Yes, I'm David Curtis. I've been working for Bond IT for around 2 years after a long history in asset management and investment banking. I'm London-based, whereas of course Bond IT works out of Herzliya, just north of Tel Aviv, where we have about 40 developers. What we've put our attention and focus on is applying AI and other advanced technologies to fixed income investment. Just to highlight a couple of points right out front, bonds are back. Okay, we've been in this ultra low yield environment for many, many years. And now with rising interest rates across largely all developed and developing economies, yields are much higher. And given economic uncertainty, credit is back too. Credit spreads are much higher. So from really a 0 to 1% yield environment, we're now in a 4 to 8% yield environment. Now, this is really important to us, and it's funding a great deal of attention from not just the investors in our business, but also the need inside our clients. You know, simply put, there was a large asset allocation into equity markets over the last 8 years, and we're seeing this reverse. Equity markets had a very challenging 2022, as we all know, and now people are looking to allocate to bond markets to diversify their portfolio to capture income. You know, the standard model portfolio is a 60-40 portfolio, 60% equities, 40% bonds. Really, for the last 8-10 years or so, that's been more like 90-95% equity, with a great deal of investment in growth equity stocks, and fixed income has been forgotten, but it's back, as I say. So that's funding a lot of interest and growth that we're seeing as a company. Secondly, digitization, equity markets, FX markets. These were electronified many years ago, 20 years ago. FX and equities were trading electronically. Fixed income, the uptick in digitization has been really recent, the last couple of years. This is important for us in 2 ways. One, it's creating data, right? Electric bond trading creates data. That data can be used. So we've put our attention and our minds to that. Secondly, it allows much more speedy and efficient execution. And I think that's really our special sauce as a company. So bear those things in mind. I'm just going to screen share, and I want to cover a few points from a deck I presented earlier. Excuse me. Let me just boost up the play. Okay, good. Great. So as I said, we're operating in fixed income markets. We use this word innovating and democratizing, and we're really applying technology to the cutting edge of what can be done in investment. So we're using AI and machine learning. I'll give you some examples of that in our credit scoring application. This technology can work much more quickly and accurately in fixed income markets, and speed is important because we're working with clients with hundreds of thousands of portfolios, tens of thousands of advisors. So to optimize and manage those portfolios, you need speed in order to run the application at scale. We're performing. So our credit application is outperforming markets, it's outperforming rating agencies. We're really transparent in what we share with our clients in the market, and I'll give you some examples of that too. But a real tenure of what we're doing is explainability. Okay, we talk about XAI, explainable AI. We're not robo. What we're trying to do is give investors, give advisors the tools for them to be more efficient. So it's very much a man and machine model working together. In terms of use cases, we're working across asset management, we're working across wealth markets and capital markets too. This year alone, we're expecting $15 trillion to flow into fixed income markets. So it's a tremendous opportunity for us. And I mentioned this digitization. Really, we're taking data and we're turning it into performance. We're limited on time, so let me just, excuse me, move on and really hit one more key slide, and then I'm going to open up for questions. So the challenge I refer to in the title is that investment is a very manual process. The concept of the swivel chair, where an individual turns from one system to another system, works on another system. There's a lot of structured data that's moved between different systems that aren't communicating. This is one of the opportunities for us, connecting the analyst with the PM, with the trader, and then having reporting that flows through to the investment committee. And here we're highlighting 3 of the apps from our platform. Scoreable, this is predicting changes in credit rating, in credit markets. It's a really neat UI, and I'd love to demonstrate it to anyone who's interested. Excuse me. It allows you to filter, to alert, to evaluate across 3,000 different issuers in investment grade and high yield. And the technology is very much based on this explainable AI, where we're looking at around 1 billion data points and 250 gigabytes of data every single day and extracting the drivers of change. Then we have Frontier. This is a portfolio optimization technology. So if you have an idea from Scoreable, you need to build a portfolio using it. That's what Frontier does. It generates and optimizes portfolios. It can solve unbelievably complex strategies in seconds to minutes rather than hours to days. One of the beauties is it's data agnostic. We have a bring your own data model. So clients bringing their ESG data, for example, we can use that to build portfolios or indeed our credit data from Scoreable. And very lastly, I wanted to touch on what we call embedded. This is where we're linking all of these applications directly to electronic execution through ATSs. And I'm going to finish on this point because it's really important. By linking to electronic trading, we know what can be traded in the market. We know the inventory, we know the amount, we know the price. If you know the price, you can build a portfolio that can be executed. That's a huge step. Most investment managers or advisors build a portfolio and then go to the market to see if it can be executed. We're market aware. So the optimization, and again, love to demo the technology. The optimization knows what can be executed. So when you decide the portfolio you want, that's the portfolio you get. I can see we're slightly over the hour. I'd love to take any questions if anyone has any. If not, let me hand back to Nicole.
Right, perfect. Thank you, David. So then I guess we have come to a close. So my sincere thanks to all four representatives from Israel and London. I know it's very early in the UK, so thank you for that. And of course, a big thanks to our audience for attending the webinar today. So I hope you find it interesting and informative. And some of you have already in touch with me about your interest to meet with the companies individually, and we'll be in touch shortly to arrange all this meeting in February, I guess. And if you haven't and would like to reach out to any of the speakers today, or you want to explore more about the Israeli fintech industry, then feel free to contact me by email. I'm here at your disposal, and you can find it in the chat box for my email. And yeah, so I wish everyone a wonderful evening and a good week ahead. So I will see you all next time at our events, and goodbye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thanks,
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Stay well.
Very interesting. Thank you.
Bye-bye.